What's up, North Philly Mo?
Not much, brother Sevon. Just chilling, man. What you got? What you got?
Nah, not too much, and I've been looking at, a lot of things that's online, about this Jalen Hurts and AJ Brown. And shit, I might have blew it out proportion myself. So, I'm gonna let you kind of go first, see what you think.
Well, I mean, when you look at that whole situation, I always thought it was a bunch of smoke and no fire. I just thought, those youngins, man, they just frustrated. They frustrated with the offense because they want to do what they do. And it don't seem like they can do that because it seems like they're handcuffed. I didn't really take nothing from the AJ Brown thing. I just thought the cat was frustrated and he didn't feel like he was in sync with the offensive scheme. So, when you look at it, probably warranted. None of those guys seem like they in sync. Yes, we're winning, but they want to be utilized more. And I kind of agree with them. So they need to start scheming them guys open, man. AJ Brown, Devontae. I understand the offensive line is probably banged up a little bit. Nobody's saying anything about that, but you can clearly see it's not the same. And like I said before, without Becton, that line is totally different. But hopefully, after AJ Brown made the comments that he made, hopefully everything will go back to normal. But again, we got to wait and see. What you think?
Yeah, I think he was frustrated. And he said that himself that he was frustrated. But, even though when they interviewed him and talked with him, he kind of, yesterday, it seemed like it was like they gave him all the talking points because it wasn't necessarily flowing like it typically would flow. Towards the end of the conversation, I think he was being more himself. Once he got all of the, lack of a better word, all of the company lines out, then he kind of started talking from, the heart about, wanting to be there, wanting to support the team, wanting to be able to contribute to the win.
Right.
And I agree 100% that they got to get the ball to him early. I mean, throw a screen, do something to keep him in the flow. And like he basically said, if you don't touch the ball into later in the game, you're kind of not in the game. And so I understand, I understand it from that point of view. But I still think he should have handled it differently. I think he should have went to, Jalen, the offensive coordinator, coach, someone, and kind of just say, give me the ball. Like Drew Brees said, his wide receiver walked past him and say, pass me the effing ball, but he used to use it. He used to use the initials,
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And he knew what he was saying. And I think, that needs to be a cold word between him and Jalen. And because if you look at that game going back, he did throw the ball to him. Out of the 5 passes that he didn't, he threw, 5 out of the 8 went to AJ. So it wasn't like, he wasn't trying to get him the ball. But I'm not saying it was perfect passes either, don't. So, and that's where I'm at with that piece of it.
Yeah, those passes, a few of those passes were uncatchable. There's no way he was going to catch those passes.
Unless he was Superman.
Yeah, just throwing the ball to him,
Yeah.
be throwing the ball to him. Nah, that's not going to work. They got to scheme this cat open. You got to scheme him open. And no, he don't always have to get the ball, but you want your receivers to stay in the flow of the game. You get them the ball early and maybe often, they're going to block downfield, period. That's what they do. They're going to be blocking, that way Saquon can do his thing. But if they're disinterested because they're not in the flow of the game, then that's why that frustration boils over. And we also got to understand that these cats are young bulls, man. They still in early to mid 20s. They still youngins. So when you say that he should have said this, that, and the third in-house, man, that's easier said than done when you're frustrated and everybody looking at you. And then you probably got other people in your ear